In this video, we're going to talk about Nano Dimensions, trading under the ticker symbol Nndm. Before today's video begins, if you like the content and would like to see more stock analysis videos, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. We have covered Nano Dimensions in previous videos, and my conclusion about the company since then hasn't changed. It is sitting on some huge potentials and can change the way our economy manufactures items and disrupt established norms and protocols regarding logistics and supply chains. Essentially, it is a company that is probably going to test our patience in terms of how long it takes before the company can reward the investors. Although it's been founded a while ago, Nano Dimension is still currently in the earlier phase of its development, and its value is mostly based on two aspects. First of all, there has been public endorsement of institutional participants like ARK, and the sudden interest regarding growth stocks in 2020. Of course, we're talking about the financial side of things, which has to take some distance from the fundamentals. I think that the fundamentals, on the other hand, will take its own time to eventually blossom, but the financial side of things depend on the current momentum of the stock and the current market sentiment, not just about Nano Dimension, but about the entire sector, and I want to say about the entire idea of risk taking. So there have been a few stories coming here and there about Nano Dimension over time, and many of them were about, say, the change of senior management or executive officers, potential contracts with clients, or new acquisitions. Many of those information have been proven to be noise, but the more significant news would surround the new acquisitions. Nano Dimensions is currently in the growth phase, meaning it has to either spend money to increase its market share or to spend money to acquire new companies, to attract new investors, so that it can get more cash flows to buy more companies. That's the general idea. Of course, for Nano Dimension, it is the second option. Overall, Nano Dimension is acquiring more and more expertise in the manufacturing of electronics by literally printing them with its Dragonfly system. New acquisitions allow it to print increasingly small parts, which means that it'll be able to print electronics that are more and more sophisticated and with higher profit margins. The company is also relying on the trend of miniaturization within the medical field and to manufacture medical devices as well. That is another one of the huge potential gold mines that can be tapped into, even though, of course, that is currently based on projections in the future. There are many things that can be said regarding how the company is improving fundamentally, but if we look at the stock price, it's not going anywhere much over the past few months. The main reason is because the stock is part of what investors perceive as disruptive and speculative stocks, and they tend to invest in a portfolio of those shares instead of just one company. I mean, sure, some people will invest specifically in Nano Dimension, probably because they read somewhere that ARK with Cathie Wood has invested in the stock, but I believe that that is a minority of the bunch. Meanwhile, we also have to consider the fact that the market is currently facing some important headwinds, either because the fear of systematic or systemic risks from Asia, or due to recent suggestions by the Fed of a new wave of recessions around the world. Those elements can scare off the market participants in times like this, and may mean that this investment in particular is not what they're looking for right now, if they're looking for security. Another thing to consider is to make a judgment call on whether the huge increase and great momentum the company has had in 2020 is a blip in the overall stock slump that Nano Dimension seems to have been going through for years, or is it a break of the cycle and signifies that it is going to enter in a new phase with the investment of ARK? My tendency is to believe that the stock has always shown potentials But the market has different needs and priorities back then, and this is why they have never really shown any sort of appreciation during the few years before 2020. Another theory that can explain this is that back then, the company simply didn't have the technology that it can showcase now. In any rate, those are the things that would require us to consider and to evaluate, which may have an impact on the overall exposure and the entry point, as well as the time frame you're willing to hold the stock. Right now, the stock has been hovering around $5.50 for a month. And from the perspective of its price action since 2021, it has demonstrated that the market is unwilling to push it much lower. I think that this is a good sign. Like, the current price point of Nano Dimension is at a region where there is a lot of potential for the stock to go higher than there. It doesn't mean that there's any major catalyst coming our way yet. It's more because, just judging by the current, the price pattern, I believe that it's not going to go lower, so it's only going to go higher from here onward. Because of the current market headwind and the stock is trading sideways, my suggestion is to have an exposure in Nano Dimension between 1 to 3% of your portfolio. Thank you for watching. If you like my content, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel.